Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of the Kickball Podcast. Finally back in New York after a little bit of stint in Flint. But as always, the interviews never stop, and today we got another superstar of USL2, Gage Lyons from Northern Virginia Football Club. How you doing today, my man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, of course, thank you for wanting to come on. It's I mean, I feel like I say this all the time, but the fact that players still want to come on to this kind of stuff, it's a privilege for us. So, but yeah, thank you for the time, and I'm looking forward to a great conversation.
Yeah, no problem. Let's do it.
So I'll be honest. I mean, the first real instance that I got involved and really started seeing Nova really was from you and the goal scoring
Mhm.
ability. I mean, you would always send, me your little clips. I would always send you certain things, and it was a great relationship that we had. We were just sending
Yeah,
out content between the two of us,
yeah,
and it was dope. And then I really got to watch some of your tape, and I saw how proficient of forward that you really were.
mhm.
And I mean, it's just been a pleasure to be able to watch, especially over the last couple games. One being the Lions bridge match going down. What was it? It was 3-0 and then
Yeah,
winning 5-3. Insane.
yeah,
You having 4 goals in that matchup. And then, obviously the division clincher against VB United in the last game of
Mhm.
the season. Tell me, I guess just broader strokes, what has the this summer felt like for you?
Yeah. I feel like in the start, I think as a team we were a bit shaky. Obviously, like it was a bunch of new players and we're really young. I don't know if you've seen the roster, but we're probably like the youngest team in the division, I would say. And like all of us really haven't played together before. So my first game was actually against Lionsbridge away.
Okay.
Because we're on the quarter system, so I came back a little late. But
Uh,
then like through the season, we started like when we started practicing together and playing more games, I think the chemistry, it kind of, I don't know, it just clicked, I feel like. Yeah, I think the Lionsbridge game, honestly, was when we started really playing together. And then the last two games, we just totally just, I think, took off as a team.
yeah, huge, huge,
Yeah.
huge, huge. I mean, with a young team like this coming into a Chesapeake, not coming in, but going into a season with the Chesapeake division, where I mean, you just look really with those first five top teams, Lynchburg coming in as well. They're still doing their USL Lynchburg right now. They've got their team name and all their colors that are coming, but
Yeah.
you may very well have five very competitive teams going to this division. I think that was really
Mhm.
apparent throughout the year that you guys really couldn't, you know, sacrifice a game or you couldn't really hold back on some of those matches. I mean, grinding
Yeah.
through those kinds of seasons, even in some of the games that are against sides that maybe aren't quite as strong as a Lions Bridge or a VB United or obviously the side that you guys have put together this year to win the division.
Mhm.
But there really was no time for you to put off any of these matches. Tell me about some of the teams that you've really been able to see and how maybe that's challenged you throughout this season.
Yeah. Obviously, like the apparent ones, Lionsbridge, because they're like a staple in USL2. Like they've made the finals, I think, and they make the playoffs consistently. They have a great fan base, and they have a lot of old players that are experienced in this league, that have played in this league, right? And then VBU, I didn't know much about them, honestly, and I didn't get to play against them in the first game, but they were a good side. I think they're very mature. I think they lost some of their players going into this game from college, but oh yeah, overall it was a challenge. And Napa's Blues, like a lot of quality players, you know. They have, yeah, their whole roster is comprised of like kids from Georgetown, then a couple from Rutgers, and so just a bunch of big schools, you know.
Right.
And obviously their fan base is ridiculous as well. And so, yeah, and so I think going against these teams in front of like big stadiums kind of really brought us together because having to go away against that's hard, you know?
Right.
And then like we're kind of seen as a small club compared to those people, like conventionally. And I think that also kind of lit a fire under us going to the season because no one really like thought about us going into it. No one, if someone said we would win the Chesapeake, I'm gonna be like, no way. But yeah,
Wow. Huh.
yeah,
No, and it just continues to write the story about, you, the rest of the team, this organization is really going to be moving forward in with the rest of this playoffs. I mean, the league notices though too, and they really highly rate this side as well. But I mean, just going and keeping that internal belief is always huge with any of these organizations that are centered around the college players because
yeah,
you guys are just driven to continuing to advance, your own personal development, but there's still obviously that team aspect, knowing that all you guys are going to be going into your own teams into that fall, but still getting that rhythm, still getting 100% out of this summer, and then really being able to produce.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've got to ask, I mean, I mentioned this a little bit to you when we were talking off the air, just with the Lions Bridge match, going down 3-0 to start, and it's never a great situation no matter what side that you are to go down 3-0.
Yeah.
But this Nova team crawled their way, not
Yeah.
crawled, but really sprinted their way all the way back. What do you remember from the match? Without getting too far into like the tactical stuff and
Uh-huh.
everything else, because I don't want to
Yeah.
out you guys, but
Yeah.
um, you know, tell me whatever you can about the match. I'd love to hear
Yeah.
it.
I mean, we were obviously down 3-0, and we were down 3-0 until like I think it was the 65th minute.
Right.
So yeah. So our confidence going into the second half obviously wasn't very high. Like looking around the bench, we're a little deflated, but I think Coach Kareem, a lot of credit to him for giving us a good halftime talk, kind of motivating us, telling us that like we still have a chance, even though and so it was almost a must-win game at that point, because if we
Right.
lost, then we would have got bumped to third, and then also not having the momentum, it would have been tough to crawl back, really.
Sure.
But and so after I got my first goal, I think we kind of got together in the middle of the field and we started talking with each other, and there was some belief. Um and then the second goal came, I think, 2 minutes after,
Right.
which like I don't really remember much, to be honest, from my goals. Like it was kind
Mhm.
of like a blur. When you're in goal scoring moments, you don't really remember anything, right? It's like
Right.
most of the
Yeah.
time. And so, but when I scored the second goal, like we held together again. We were like, oh my God, like it's 2-3, and it's
Oh,
the 68th minute, and 3 minutes ago we were down 3-0. Now it's 3-2. We're only down one goal, and we have all the momentum. And then at that point, we were just like hammering them. They didn't get the last 30 minutes of the game because the film cut out, unfortunately, but we're gonna get that back. But
good.
we
Good.
started like I think we were getting a chance probably every like 3 minutes. Like it was crazy. I don't think they left our half just because they were kind of on the back foot. We were just pressing. Everyone was playing together. And then our center back scored a goal to tie it off a corner kick, I believe. Diego. Um, and then yeah, and then we got two others. I was lucky to get two others, and then we won the game. It was crazy. It was but by far like the most eventful and craziest comeback I've ever been a part of, for sure, as a team. So yeah.
And I mean, I'm glad that the league and I mean, I guess our fan base is able really to bear witness to it. Again, it sucks that we couldn't have seen the last two, but
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you more than anything to be able to have that film. You got to get that a part of your tapes and everything
Yeah, I
else.
know.
Like you,
I
you
know. I
need that
know.
stuff.
I know.
Um, but yeah, I mean, fantastic, bro. Congratulations on the win. We're a little further out from that, but again, congratulations on that win. I mean, it's something special. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
I guess one thing I want to ask though, too, you mentioned there being this really high press and every one of you guys really being able to get 100% out of that, where everything
Mhm.
was clicking, you're getting chances very frequently.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes from momentum and it comes a little bit from the feeling, but you can't let that feeling get too high because then
Yeah.
that's when certain mistakes end up forming out. But it really didn't end up becoming an issue for this Nova FC team from your mindset, I know I mean, you've really become the quintessential nine, I feel like, for this team. And it's interesting because I've seen we'll get into this a little bit later, but you're able to play a little bit further out wide. Your goal, it's like and that's why I talk about forward a little bit more than two. I don't know if you can be a pure striker, but you've also got that ability to be able to set your teammates on a wing. You're really versatile in that end. Um, but from your perspective, being on that first line, pressing on that defensive unit, and
Yeah.
knowing that your guys got your back, having to rely on those guys, what does that communication and what does that tempo end up looking like for people like myself who maybe don't quite see it because we're not right in the middle of it?
Yeah. Well, I think like obviously at that point, if we talk about Lions Bears, like that's like the 70th minute of the game, like we're a little tired, you know? And
Mhm.
so I think there's a little personality that you need to have. Because I think all three of us at that point have played the whole game, and USL2 it's pro sub, so you can't sub in and out like college and
Mhm.
play like 25 minutes a half, right? You have to press the whole game. And so I think, I mean, obviously it's a factor of fitness, but I think we're all fit at this point because we're at the end of the season. I think it's personality and if you want to do it or not. you
Oh,
know? So I just think that's the most important part about our press. And we're organized, like we know what we're doing. We have a
right. Yeah.
like we have tactics, like which side you want to force it to most of the time, depending on the personnel they have. Some moments you don't want to press as hard, you want to like just calm and try to force them out wide. Some moments you just want to go man to man, you know? But once we have our like tactical awareness, that's when you just got to do it.
Right.
I think that's what we've been doing,
Yeah,
to be honest. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, so I appreciate the insight on that though too. And yeah, I mean, I guess this really does speak to a character of the organization of like you guys, I mean, again, coming into the season, maybe people not quite writing you guys as the Chesapeake Division
Yeah.
champions, but
Yeah.
that mentality is the kind of thing that ends up being the difference in these kinds of games where,
Mhm.
I mean, every extra chance just continues to wear down a defense and ultimately results in a win. It really, really comes down in moments when you're in this USL2 game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, obviously clinching the division had to have been a huge part of, this club for yourself as well. It's always nice to be able to win those trophies. So,
Hmm.
coming out of the final match day, I mean, what we're 2 days ago. I mean, how are you feeling even just ahead of playoffs? And I don't want to rush you on this stuff, but
Uh-huh.
looking forward to what's to come, but also knowing that you guys achieved something very fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot to the club. And I'm honestly happy for like my coach Kareem and like his family because Nova FC, I don't know if you know, it's kind of like a family business almost.
Hmm.
Like a family owns it, the Shada family. My head coach is a part of it, and then his brother plays with us, AJ Shada. And so, I think it just means like that much more to us because, other clubs are kind of like financial base and
Mhm.
to bring in fans, but we don't create any revenue at the moment, right? And we're not a pro team and it's just it's a family business. And so, we just took a bunch of young guys and came together as a team and decided to win the league. And I just think that's kind of a cool thing. So
Huge.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you don't win it without every single person being bought in to the organization, to the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, huge, huge moment for the club. And I mean, you've got the rest of the nation looking forward to seeing what is to store for the rest of this summer. And you've got me and Kickball waiting right on the same.
Good.
So, I guess, for some of us at home who don't quite know the Gage Lyons story, where you're coming
Mhm.
from, what your journey has looked like to the point. I always like asking the question about where did your footballing journey start? And I really
Yeah.
mean, just what your first memories were, and I really
Hmm.
let you tell your story all the way up, through however far you want to take it. I mean, I'd love to hear about the
Okay.
Army days, maybe
Yeah.
what the conversations with Irvine were like, but however long or short the story ends up being, I'm here for
Okay.
all of it. Anything and
All
everything
right.
that you want to tell, we're here for it.
Okay.
But so where does your footballing journey start? Tell us about it.
So I was originally a tennis player.
Get
Um,
out. Okay.
yeah. So I'm starting really young. I started pretty late compared to like other boys. I started at like the age of like 8, which is late compared to a lot
Oh,
of kids. Yeah. So I played tennis till I was 7, but ended up getting burnt out. And then I started soccer because I went to Washington International School with a bunch of like foreigners. And
mm,
my best friend, Bijan, he plays at Tufts University. Um, he introduced me to the game. And then I ended up like making this travel team. And I was like Division 4 at the time for kids.
uh-huh.
And I was like 9. And then I went to McLean, which is like a team close to where I live. I'm from McLean.
Nice.
Um, and then from McLean, I got picked up to this team called Joga. It was basically like one of those like all-star teams in the area for like U10. And
Okay.
like there's a kid on DC United who played for them right now, Jackson Hopkins, and there's like all of us, basically all of us playing college or went pro.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I was a center back, and they kind of developed me into like a striker winger. So that's
Interesting.
where my game really kind of took off. And then from there, I went to DC United, the academy.
Yep.
And then I was there from like U12 to U17.
Okay.
And then my U19, they don't have a U19 team. And so all of us basically switched and played on a ECNL team. And this is my junior year, Virginia Union.
Got
And
it.
then my senior year, I played on SYC MLS Next.
Okay, got it. Very cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of my youth story. And then I committed to Army, obviously, and I
Mhm.
played there for a year and a half. I found some success. I enjoyed it, honestly. Like I made a lot of good relationships, but I ended up leaving just because of like the military aspect of it.
Sure.
And if you come in at West Point, you don't have a chance of going pro in your sport because obviously you have to serve after. And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was a big part of why I left as well. I
Mhm.
love the coaching staff. I love the team. I love the environment, honestly. It was just kind of my life. You know what I mean? That was kind of the reason I left. Yeah. And then I chose UCI because of the coach. I love Coach Yossi. Me and him get
Wow.
along well and hope the relationship brings success in soccer. So,
No, for
um,
sure.
and when I visited on my official visit, the team, like I love the team. The boys are great, and they welcomed me very well in my last quarter there.
Mhm.
And then the style of play also, and I play winger now, so I'm not a striker anymore, really. So
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, so that's a little different. But I love the style of play that they play, their brand. I love the facilities there, and also it's a good school, so that was a big part of my decision because the academics part of it that means a lot to me. So yeah, now I'm here.
Huge. Well, congratulations. You say you're here, meaning like you're still in Virginia now, but then like you'll make your way to UCR, or you have you reported
Yeah,
to?
no. I'm saying I'm here like in my position in soccer,
Got it.
basically.
Okay, okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. But I am still in Virginia because of the playoffs.
Right. Very
Yeah.
nice. Interesting.
Hmm.
I mean, it had to have been a very cool homecoming for you to be able to come back, play for, a Virginia team. You haven't been around this DMV area for a little while, and then, I mean, taking a family club to, and not to um throw shade at family clubs that are operated like that, but that aren't necessarily focused on the ticket sales and everything like that
Yeah.
goes with running a team like this. But I mean, a group of people that had a dream to create a soccer team and now have a trophy for it.
Hmm.
I mean, huge. But I think what was interesting about this though too. I mean, I remember watching. You've got an ECNL package that released like I don't know however many years ago, like 2 years ago,
Hmm.
I guess. But there was a tournament, 4 games and or excuse me, 7 goals in 4 games. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, well, you know, it makes sense why they would have put you up a little bit further. Um, I'm curious though. You mentioned that you were a center back a little
Hmm.
bit, originally.
Yeah.
What's that transition like? Normally you see sometimes guys move a little further back into,
Yeah, usually.
defense.
Hmm.
What led to the transition, to be an
Well,
attacker?
I was a center back because my touch was just terrible because I didn't
Mm.
play soccer really. Because everyone else has been playing for like 3 or 4 years at that point, and I just was kind of new to it. But I was just like really fast and athletic, so they
Okay.
just stuck me as center back, and then. But then like McLean kind of developed my foot skills a little bit, and then when I got recruited to go play for Joga, I guess they saw my athleticism, and then like I was like dribbling out of the back a lot, like when I was younger. And so I guess they saw that, and then they made me into a nine.
Wow.
And I think it helped me honestly because playing center back kind of showed me what it looks like from a defender's perspective,
Right.
if
Okay.
that makes sense. So I saw how a defender sees a nine or a winger and how he defends. And so now when I'm going against defenders, I know what they're thinking, kind of, and then I'm like, okay, I can do this because he thinks I'm gonna do this. So that makes sense. I think it helped me unconsciously.
Yeah. No, it's such
Yeah.
a valuable perspective to have. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually what that was. I mean, you answered my follow-up question with that. Like, does it help, being able to have the perspective?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess it really comes down to any edge that you're able to get. But then, even though you are a center back, there's naturally a lot of that communication between the outside backs. So even
Hmm.
on the side that, I mean, you being a winger coming into this Irvine season, you even have that sense of what the right back or the left back will be. What side are you going to be lining up on with Irvine?
Um, honestly, like a lot of last quarter, they're switching me around to see where I fit with the
Got it.
team.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and they like Yossi was switching us around a lot, like every single player.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then there's a lot of new guys, and so I don't think like I can't say there's like a set side. that I'm gonna
Interesting.
be on. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we even switch to where like I'm playing like 9 or a 10 almost. Or switch to like a 4-4-2 and I'm playing like another striker. So I think it's gonna be game by game, I think.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's going to be exciting to watch. I mean,
Yeah.
anytime that you're able to have players that fit into those kinds of systems,
Yeah. No, the one thing I can promise, we're gonna be a very fun team to watch. We have a lot of weapons on Irvine, so it'll be good.
well, you know what? Then I got a reason to stay up at 10 o'clock at night when these games go on because I got to make sure to
Yeah.
tune into you and the rest of this
Yeah.
team. Huge, huge, huge. Um, but yeah, no, I guess just to think about that though too. I mean, you know what the entire defensive line is looking at though too, and how they're going to be able to react. It just it just adds to your awareness of the game that you're able to play, but
Mhm.
also analyze. I mean, as much as it is getting your own tactical awareness down within your own team, it's learning as you see the other side though too. So it's going to be a huge part of it, and the versatility only adds to that, the impact.
Yeah.
I guess, the only other thing that I'm thinking about though too would be, only if you're willing to go into it and talk about it, but the commitment to Army, it's a huge thing, really for anyone to be able to go into Army, Air
Yeah.
Force, Navy, any of these military academy schools, there is that expectation of serving. And I know a few of the guys who, for whatever they were able to get something to defer their service, where they're still able to serve, but they'll do it after a certain time or whatever it is. But there's still the expectation of when
Yeah.
you leave school, you will serve your country.
Yeah.
And it's something that's noble, but um, you know, for someone like yourself, who I'm sure you want to get into that pro game right away,
Hmm.
and having a bit of that uncertainty can be a little disorienting sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a huge decision for you to know to enter that transfer portal and find a school that's right for you. And I'm glad that you've really got that now with Irvine. And obviously we'll see in the fall, and we'll see what the production ends up looking like. Um, but what was juggling the obligations of going to a military academy like Army,
Mhm.
also being a Division 1 athlete at the same time?
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot to put it simply. Like the military aspect of West Point, that's what it is, right? Like you're
Mhm.
not there to go pro or like you develop in your sport, but you're not there to develop in your sport. You're there to become an officer in the army,
Right.
right? And that's their main goal. And so they're gonna facilitate that by like kind of conditioning you to just think about being an officer in the army, you know?
Mhm.
And so like a lot of players, I mean, obviously, like some not, but a lot of players end up shifting almost away from their sport mentally as they go up through West Point because you're thinking about now in 1 year, I'm going to be in the military,
Sure.
right? And I'm going to be done with my sport.
Mhm.
And so it was kind of hard for me because, like, when I was a freshman, I didn't really know much about it. And I went in there, I was a little naive, to be frank. And when everyone was telling me about like kind of being in the army and whatnot, like ever since I got there, I just didn't really like it because I wanted to go pro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like what I wanted to do with my life after college, right? I wanted to try, you know? And so, being at a place where you didn't really have a chance to, it was kind of I don't know, it was just a little hard for me to
Right.
kind of grasp. And so that's kind of like the reason why I left. But yeah. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
Right. Yeah. And a huge decision. And I mean, kudos and props and all the respect to you for recognizing that that was something that, you know, for you to be able to chase that pro dream, you had to go to a different kind of environment to be able to really
Yeah.
further that. Like, so I guess, really looking at Irvine though too, what stood out about them in particular? I mean, I'm sure there
Mhm.
were a bunch of schools that were in conversation. We don't have to get into what kinds of schools, but
Okay.
I mean, Irvine is a fantastic place to end up. Like just talking up about, what you've seen, even joining a little bit late, what the team
Hmm.
dynamic was like, some of your teammates, and being able to see where you fold into, this whole
Yeah.
system with this side.
Yeah. Well, I would say that from a soccer perspective, it's a night and day from West Point because West Point was more direct and more like gritty soccer, as you would imagine a military academy is, right? But Irvine, we play with the ball much more. We move the ball well. Like we transition when we need to, and we go long when we need to. But like our game is predicated upon moving the ball and getting it up the field through our midfield, and and playing soccer really.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it for me, and also with my want to go pro, they have a good history of sending guys to places to pro and setting them up, and so that was obviously big for me too. And then the coaching staff was amazing. Coach Yossi and Kale, Yona, just them three, the combination of them three, I enjoyed it. And I thought Yossi's like drive and competitiveness matched with my personality as well. And when he told me his plans for me, I think it aligned with what I wanted to do. So that worked out. And then obviously the team, I love the boys. Team chemistry is good. And then as I mentioned before, the academics were huge part for my recruiting process because I want to go to school with good academics, and Irvine obviously has that.
So
Yeah.
what are you going to end up studying and it's it's not the first time you've brought up the academic piece to it too.
Hmm.
But what are you studying at your own school, and how do you plan on making sure that you getting your well, depending on how the next few years shake out, but
Yeah.
also continuing your education and being able to take the classes that interest you, but also again,
Hmm.
I guess really what I'm asking is the juggling of academics and your
Yeah.
sport in a daily
Well,
way,
so I'm majoring in business.
right?
And then I would if soccer doesn't work out, then I'll go into finance.
Mhm.
That's kind of my plan. Like this whole summer, I had an internship in finance.
Very cool.
So yeah,
Nice.
and so that's kind of my plan B, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did working out the internship go with also being a part of a team that I'm sure has been very demanding, with
Yeah.
trainings and everything else? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, is it just intern by day, soccer player by night? What does it look
Yeah.
like? Give me an insight
That's
into what your day looks
that's
like.
exactly what it is.
Got it.
I'm
Okay.
not gonna lie, it's been an extremely tiring summer. Because especially in finance, like a lot of the stuff you do is demanding and the hours are demanding.
Right.
And so um basically like I'm in the office until like probably 4:30 to 5:30, I would say, is when I get out. And that's early because I ask them because I have practice, right? And then I'll go to the gym after and like prepare for practice and then like get a little lift in and then go to practice. And so like basically my days are just like finance and then soccer and then like it's basically nothing else during the weekday. So yeah.
So I, I guess just on a personal level though too, how do you make sure that you stay composed and you manage all of it? I mean,
Yeah.
I think you telling me that it's tiring is an understatement because sometimes
Yeah.
there's, you got late nights, sometimes, trying to get everything going together. You've got midweek games even too. Then when you've got to
Yeah.
go into the office tomorrow morning, like,
Yeah.
how do you make sure you stay centered through it all?
Um, well, you got to enjoy it. So
Right.
that's the biggest part of it because if you're doing two things for like 14 hours in a day, you gotta love it, right? And I love soccer and I've learned to love finance, and so
Hmm.
I think that's important to enjoy it first of all. And then second of all, you gotta have goals. You gotta look forward because I'm not doing all this for fun. I mean, it's
Right.
fun, but I'm doing all this for a reason because I gotta have a plan B and I want to go pro. And so,
Right.
you know, those two things are important to me, and so I do them.
Huge. Perfect. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I think a lot of people really could learn from that though too. So this also, leads into another thought that I have. I'm sure there are a lot of people that I know that can't quite fall in love with finance. So for those of us who are non-athletes and looking to make that jump into business post college, how do what allows you to fall in love with the finance and the process of just being able to get work done, setting goals, and staying committed to a work life?
Yeah. Um, well, I've always been interested in it. So
Mhm.
my dad has been in finance for a long time. So
All
it
right.
kind of, I think it stems from that. And then I've always wanted to work in New York. And so
Very cool.
Wall Street kind of has always been my goal. Um, and in terms of staying interested in it, I think, God, I don't know how that would be. I mean, I've always loved trading. Like
Mhm.
I've traded since I was a kid, like in the market.
Right.
So I think that's what I love about it. And like I love like handling money and then I like money, so I
Right.
think that's one of the biggest, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm from New York, so when you went, if 15 years down the line, when you're finally done with your soccer career, I'm probably going to
Yeah.
still be around here.
Yeah.
We'll be around Midtown. We'll figure something out. And I
Yeah,
mean, I was
we'll
never
work something
playing.
out then.
Right. I was never playing to begin with, so I'll be waiting there 15 years for you to get done with MLS or whatever level that you're going to
Yeah.
be at. But we'll figure something out 15 years from now, me and you.
Sounds good. We'll do something.
Absolutely. So, um, I guess the other th and I guess the last real act that I really want to get into, really
Yeah.
just for this conversation, is just certain ability that you've been able to develop. And I think that it's no question that on ball dribbling, being able to um move the ball progressively. Maybe it's not quite beyond lines, but you're able to work with your midfielders, whether it's attacking midfielders, even the time that you're able to be a 10, it's interesting. Um, and again, this is a bit of what I'm assuming because I haven't seen your spring film, and that's because a lot of that stuff is closed off in practice. So I don't want to pretend like I know the full scheme of what it looks like. So this is me figuring and correct me if I'm wrong or don't. You
Yeah.
can leave a lot of this stuff like behind the shadows with
Yeah.
Irvine or whatever else, but
Yeah, I probably
um
should.
yeah, no problem. But so I'll keep this vague then, but being on ball is going to be a huge part of your skill set. I think it's a huge part of your strength, and I think it's part of what got you to Irvine anyway.
Mhm.
But how do you continue to make sure that you're taking the right amount of touches, you're being strategic, you're
Yeah.
staying aware of your situation? I mean, regardless of the situation, not getting so far into like tactics and everything else, but
Yeah.
um, what do you think about when you're on ball and just trying to create chances and opportunities?
Yeah, well, every time I have the ball, like I would have do something with it,
Right.
Because as an attacker, there's some games you don't get the ball much. And that's the
True.
truth,
Yep.
no matter how good you are, no matter how good your movement is, some games you just end up don't getting the ball. Um, so I always I would have produced. And all my life, I think that's what's kind of set me apart from other guys is
Mm,
that like I produce. Like I score goals and I get assists. And I think a lot of that, like I think I'm good on the ball, but I think a lot of that comes to my off-ball movement, actually.
mm. Okay.
Just kind of using my pace to running behind and like those double movements, and kind of working off my teammates. And in terms of Irvine, we have a lot of guys that are really good on the ball in the midfield. Our strikers can hold the ball really well,
Nice.
and they're always looking to play. So I think if I were to find success on this team in the upcoming fall season, it's going to be a lot of just my ability to get the ball in the first place and my movement off the ball and kind of seeing, what players do what and then playing off that almost. So yeah.
Huge. I mean, what I think is interesting too, you mentioned a little bit about using your pace and using your ability to change and keep defenders guessing,
Yeah.
really. And so I think you really would be able to attest to the importance of being able to be unpredictable and knowing um and understanding the game in a context on that ground level, knowing where A, B, C options are, but also where obviously the defensive line is set up.
Yeah.
So a huge part of the awareness comes into that. Is that something that has always been a part of your game, or maybe you've
Yeah.
been able to develop in the college game? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think my freshman year, my awareness was a little less than it could have been because I mean I was young, right? And college was so much different than high school, even the
Right.
way we played. Um, But then I think my sophomore year of college, I started kind of seeing things a little better. And that came from watching film. I'm a big like watching film person. I think that's important, especially as you said, like knowing what the defense does. I think like before every game, I watch film on the defense for a whole game. And I think that's helped me so much because players have tendencies,
Right.
especially defenders. They have a lot of tendencies, whether it's on the ball, whether it's how they defend. And so I've taken advantage of that, being more of a student of the game. But I think all my life, I think I've kind of seen the field pretty well. And I think that's kind of helped me score a lot of goals
Right.
because, most goals aren't scored on the ball. It's really scored off of your movement to get there.
Huh.
You know what I mean? And so I think that's a big part of my game. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. It's it makes you such an enigma for defensive units, and I think that's what made you so dangerous even coming toward the end of this season. I mean, the league knows you for goal production in these last few games and these last matches, but I think it's and that's why it's so interesting that you talk to me about off-ball movement and you being dangerous in that regard because it's not something that you expect. You can't go back and look at the stat sheet and see
Yeah. Can't see that.
off-ball movement. Like, how do you even record? You can't even see assists on the USL2 website, which I think is a shame. But anyway, um, yeah, no, like that you really needing to be able to watch, go back through film, not only for these games where you're not quite able to see certain highlight tapes and they're not getting mixed, but it just makes you a student of the game and it attests to your ability to continue to want to get better and to be able to find those pockets. It's really a testament.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess really, you know, I'm even trying to think about, what's really to cut. Like, what is the mindset of this team for this Friday's match? Obviously going to be a huge moment for this Nova club.
Mhm.
I keep saying over and over again, win the division, but I know this team wants so much more to be able to go as far
Yeah.
as you guys can. And without putting the pressure on, without doing anything, you guys are going to play your game and you guys are going to go about it exactly the same like anything else. And
Hmm.
I've talked with the video analyst actually, Keenan Bagwell, if you know him. He's been around a little
Yeah.
bit,
Yeah. I
17
know that
years.
guy.
Yeah. So me and him have gotten to talk a little bit and um, just about the feeling about what's going on with this team.
Mhm.
But the next few days for you, how are you feeling um moving forward, continuing to stay healthy, conditioned, recover, going through training?
Yeah.
But then, also the internship doesn't stop either. But what does your week ahead look like?
Um, well, I think we're practicing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Nice.
And then it's a little up in the air because we don't know where the game is or when the game is or who the game's against. So
Okay.
we have no idea like what's going on right now with who we're playing. And that's fine, right? Because that means the other team doesn't either. So,
Sure.
but I have work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I'll probably take off Friday because we have the game. And then practice. I think the mindset going into it is like, I think we're just playing for the club.
Mm,
I don't think it's like an individual thing for any of us, and I can talk for all my teammates. I think it means a lot to us because we put a lot of work and we played a lot of games, we practice a lot, and
yeah,
a lot of mental stuff has gone into getting to this spot,
sure.
and then in single elimination, so you can't afford to have a minute off in either of the games. You can't start bad, you can't end bad. You got to come in fit, you got to come in ready, you got to come with a good game plan.
Mhm.
And our coach Kareem he's gonna lock us in. Like I have faith in him. Um, so yeah, we're locked in. I think we're ready to go. I think we're at a high right now. We couldn't go into Friday with a better mindset than we have right now as a team.
And that's so exciting to hear that for all of Northern Virginia, for you to be able to say that confidently, huge. Excuse me. Um, and I guess my last thought on this part of it as well. I mean, you've had this experience in college, at least, it not quite having been 4 years yet, where, there's that established and that expected leadership capability. But I
Mhm.
think the fact that you're able to speak for your team, speaks volumes for the kind of personality and the kind of voice that you have in that locker room. Um, you know, do you think you've taken on a leadership role, whether it was given to you or something that became natural? Um, you know, Talk to me a little bit about how, if there's some leadership expectation and how you're handling that as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's somewhat of a leadership role just because of my age. Because I mean, I know it's funny, like I'm 20 years old, I'm going to my junior year. So on most teams, I wouldn't be like old, but on this team, like I'm old. Like a lot of the boys make fun of me because of how old I am, even though
Oh
like
my God.
I'm 20. That's how young we are, though. Like our average age is probably 18.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Huh.
so I think a bit of leadership comes with that, just from the experience. And in terms of leadership role, like I feel like on the field mostly is when I do like a lot of the talking. Because like even when I was a captain, back in my high school days, I didn't really like to talk a lot off the field. Like,
Hmm.
I did most of my leadership on the field and with my own play too. Like say. Like for example, say we're down 2 goals, right? And then like we're kind of deflated. I'll be the guy who starts pressing, and
Hmm.
makes that tackle and starts, trying to
Yeah.
bring some energy to the team. Or through scoring a goal. That's always good to bring energy. But yeah. So I think that's where I am with the team. But I think we're all like, for how I keep saying we're so young, but I think we're so mature, and I don't think they get enough credit for how mature they are, for how young they are. Because a lot of these kids haven't even played a game of college soccer yet. They're still like basically in high school, and just the way they're playing against other high level college kids. Because every team we play from now on, they're all Division 1 college kids, right?
Right.
Basically every team, and they're hanging around and they don't look out of place. And I think a lot of credit to those boys.
Huge. I mean, I'm looking forward to what that ends up looking like moving forward. I mean, some of these guys, I'm sure a good portion of them are going into the college game, and that's
Yeah.
going to be a whole other, um, problem for the rest of the division, but just an exciting
Yeah.
thing to be able to see each one of them end up developing. And, I won't make you say names now though, too, but I'm curious as to like, who the guys that are going to be coming up. But,
Hmm.
I'm excited for what's to come, you know, really for the immediate future, but also, I mean, how could you not be excited about a bunch of kids who aren't even at the Division 1 level yet, haven't played a college game, and
Yeah.
yet being able to hang with some of the top teams, the most historic teams, like a
Yeah.
Lyons, like an Annapolis, who with their recent history,
Yeah.
like a BB United, who's been of quality. But yeah, I mean, I can't help but smile as when you talk about these guys being young, mature and really being able to hold their own. It's something that speaks to the club, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. It's a great thing.
So, Coach Kareem has been someone that's also come up for you.
Yeah.
When you look at trying to find a USL2 team to join,
Hmm.
it's there has to be a lot of trust built up before you ever even
Yeah.
report. Um, Tell me about what some of those recruitment conversations were like, being able to show out, and what the relationship like is now between your head coach, but also some of the assistants that's under that staff as well.
Yeah, so going back to my like transfer portal days,
Hmm.
I had um I had a bit of a weird schedule for me or plan because UC Irvine couldn't get me into the winter quarter because they're in the quarter system
Mm.
for California. So I couldn't go until the spring quarter. So I was at home for like 2.5 months.
Wow.
And that's kind of when I started playing with Nova, with their like year-round team, along with a few others. But I trained with their team a lot, and Coach Kareem kind of brought me in, um, and then like helped me train those 2.5 months, which meant a lot to me. And then I got some games in with them too. Um, and like so that kind of made it a no-brainer for which team I was playing with, and
Mm.
also it's close to home, so it makes it easier. And like a lot of the guys I know were playing on the team. Um, So yeah, that kind of made my decision. And Kareem's a really good guy, great guy, and a great coach. And I like the way he runs the club, and he cares a lot. And then going back to how it's a family business, so it means a little more. And
Mm.
just the way it's run, I think, is just a little better and more genuine and honest than some of these other clubs. I think that's how we win too. Yeah.
I mean, I got a feeling that just drives you to want to win that little bit extra. It makes you want to put in those extra reps, the
Yeah,
extra
it
thing
does.
to really win for the family.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I can't imagine that this summer season, because I'll see so many times. You can't pin it to a direct cause and relationship, cause and effect. But like I said at the beginning of the interview, I'm a firm believer that a good fall ends up leading, or excuse me, a good summer leads up to a good fall. I think you've certainly shown that. Um, I mean, I don't know if you could have really had a better season, to be honest with you. Um, you know, Obviously you're going to take it game by game, whatever's do for the rest of the season. And
Mhm.
I mean, I'm here for any bit of it. If you had anything that you want to say, maybe to a younger kid who is from this DMV area, because
Yeah.
I'm really kind of realizing how huge and how expansive that this really stretches in terms of a soccer environment. I mean, DMV soccer is someone that I follow to keep up with, and I like hanging out and seeing a lot of this stuff. Um, but you know, how would you take a testament to some of the soccer that's being played in the DMV, you growing up in it, you being around the commitment, what it's like, and then, really still having your whole soccer journey ahead of you, but, obviously from that DMV Launchpad platform.
Yeah. Well, I think if I was to talk to a younger kid, like, I mean, if they were to come out to a game and see these guys are only like 4 or 5 years older than a lot of these kids,
Mm.
that are really young. I mean, they're 17, 18 years old. And so, like, this could be you, like, very soon, And a lot of these kids come from, like, um, local clubs. A lot of our players aren't from DC United, or like Philly Union or Red Bulls. They're from Arlington or Bethesda, which are just regular clubs around the area, but they ended up getting an offer to go Division 1, and now they're just won the USL2 division.
Right.
And we all did it together. And there's not a player on the roster except for an Argentinian kid, Jeffrey, funny guy. But there's not a player on the roster that's not from the DMV
Wow.
and didn't grow up in the DMV.
Huh.
Um, and so I think that's a cool thing because that shows how good the soccer is around here. And the soccer in Northern Virginia is so good because we have so many teams, right? And it's a hub for soccer. So many guys play college and go pro out of here. And so we're just a group of guys from the DMV who played USL2 together this summer and decided to win. And I think that's cool.
It definitely is cool. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like the, yeah, I feel like young kids think a lot about that end goal, the end journey, playing in MLS, playing professionally, signing the pro con, whatever it is.
Hmm.
But you've got to have these kinds of support systems in areas like Bethesda, like Arlington, that,
Yeah.
maybe you're not getting DC United or Philly Union or Rebels guys like you're saying, but giving those guys the outlet to be able to continue to play at a high level, to be somewhere where they feel welcome. Um, and just continuing to move forward and do what is, really sought out for. And I mean, I think Nova FC really is able to provide for them. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for sure. I mean, we have a few decent at it guys, including myself.
Mhm.
You know, but I think it shows even if you didn't play for an academy or you didn't play for like a big time club, you can still do something, because you're young. Right? And so a lot of these guys, they're like, oh my God, I didn't make the decent at an academy or I didn't go Division 1 right away. That
Mhm.
doesn't mean that they're done or your soccer career's over. There's plenty of stories like that. And so I think it's motivation for kids to keep going and just keep working hard and keep playing the game and it'll work out.
And I mean, you're a testament to that, having end up at, I mean, a top Division 1 program. Army still being a Division 1 school now at a top D1 that's going to be making a run with, I mean, conference championship, I'm sure is something that's on your mind, at least for this fall.
Yeah.
I don't want to rush you toward that
Yeah,
yet.
I gotta focus on this playoff first, right?
Absolutely. And as you should. Um, Gage, I mean, it's been a pleasure to talk with you. I feel like the conversation flew by. So if there was anything that I didn't cover that you want to continue to talk about, if there's something that, you know, that I didn't bring up, something that you want to address, I'd be happy to leave it to you. But I'm
Yeah.
all out of my questions, and I'd like to thank you for wanting to come on for a conversation.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. This is great. Thank you. I had an amazing time.
Good. I'm glad you did. And yeah, I'm looking forward to staying in touch. And I'm looking forward to watching this playoff run. I'm
Yep.
hoping that things all get sorted out, like, obviously before Friday so that you guys could just get everything in momentum. But um, I mean, I'm just excited for what's to come. You've got a supporter in me, the rest of us involved to kick a ball, the rest of your college career, the rest of the pro journey that I'm sure is sure to come. Um, and yeah, all the best to you, Gage.
Thank you. All the best to you too. Take it easy.